So I hit 38,000 kilometers, or around 25,000 miles on my 21 Tacoma. So I'm gonna do like a little long-term ownership review of it. I've got this little trailer on the back, but that's just because I need to get it home. Anyways, it's been an amazing truck. It's taken everything I've thrown at it, from mild off-roading to not so mild off-roading to tons of highway driving. I've had it for about 10 months. Modifications so far are airbags in the rear, Firestone airbags with the compressor in the front. Can't really see them in there, but they're there. Snow tires for the winter, 33s for the summer. This isn't really a modification, but I put a dent in the fender like a dummy. It needs paint correction because I do use it like a work truck. I've got these Raptor lights in the front end. Down there, TRD skid plate. Took off the mud flaps because they look dumb when they got caught on everything. As we get in, WeatherTech floor mats, Carhartt seat covers. Yeah, as you can tell, this interior is pretty stock. Yeah, and a Valley Runner tune, which I already made a video on. So, yep, I love it thus far. You can see 38,719 kilometers. And yeah, so let's get driving and I'll talk about the truck. Anyways, now that we're on the road, I can talk about what I like and what I don't like about this truck. First, I really love this powertrain. It is a 2GR FKS, or as more commonly known, 3.5 liter V6 from Toyota. Mine is tuned by Valley Runner. Great guys, great company. I love working with their products. And yeah, well, I bought it. They didn't sponsor me. This isn't paid. This isn't endorsed. It's just something I love. It makes the 6-speed automatic. It's paired up to just shift all that better. Hold on the gears. It lets it rev out a little bit longer, and it lets it breathe just that little bit better. In my opinion, probably one of the better tunes on the 2020, 2021 Tacomas, even though also they do 2016 and 2019 stuff too. Yeah, it's just a smooth powertrain. If I can downshift it here. For a little V6, it doesn't sound half bad. It's got a nice little throaty growl on the stock exhaust. The transmission is tuned, it's responsive. Untuned, it's a little bit laggy and slow sometimes, but I like just slap it into standard mode and you can just downshift and go. I like the idea of the ECT power, which is just a more power button, basically keeps you in the higher rev ranges. This powertrain has been amazingly reliable. I work it hard. I tow 5,000 pounds in the summer with this truck, hence the airbags I have on it. And yeah, it's just been incredibly reliable and all you can ask for from a truck powertrain, really. I know a lot of people criticize it on the fact that it's actually originally a minivan engine, but I've read this on the Tacoma forums and I actually think it's a great point. What vehicles get tortured more than minivans? They're constantly loaded up past capacity. They don't get oil changes until 30,000 K past the oil change limit. They get driven like lunatics, bounced off curbs. The oil pan gets whacked off curbs. 90% of them don't get maintained properly, haven't had an air filter in 100,000 kilometers. So if a engine can hold up to minivan abuse, I'm sure it'll hold up to truck abuse. Most truck owners maintain their crap pretty well. So at least I do. Yeah, it's just been a fantastic, easy to work on too, although I preferred the old cartridge style, or not cartridge, sorry, the old spin-on filters. I much preferred those. Unfortunately, they went to a cartridge style, which I get less waste kind of deal. Yeah, the 4x4 system works great, very simple. Just slap it into 4 high. You can see the light on the dash. Go down a little dirt road so we can use the 4 high. Doesn't make any excess noise, none of that. It just goes in smoothly. You can see it's on. Just an amazing drivetrain in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like it. I love it. I think it's gonna last 200,000-300,000 miles, and well, I put 40,000 K on it in a month, or not a month, sorry, 8 months. So hopefully I'll see that long. Fuel economy, it's okay. I'm averaging 13 liters per 100 kilometers, which I think is 18 miles per gallon. But that's in hilly on dirt roads like this and 4x4 with this little trailer on. So, you know, it's not great, it's not awful, it's just average, and I'm fine with that. I know you could probably get better from a turbo 4, but I prefer the simplicity of a V6. Interior, I love it, but I do have a couple gripes. The plastic they use on these door panels, you can see down here, is extremely easy to scratch. All down here by my driver's foot, I'm a pretty big guy, I'm 6'2", 210 pounds, is all scuffed up from me banging my feet on it. It's really soft, not feeling plastic. It feels like hard plastic, but it scratches easy. So that's a little bit of a mark against it. But as for the layout and everything, like how this head unit functions, it's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Granted, wired only, but I kind of prefer that because it charges your phone. Although, you know, the wireless option is obviously nice to have for shorter trips. The head unit's smooth and responsive. It's not the most up-to-date thing screen size-wise. I know, like, the new 1500s whoop this, but I prefer this. My dad has a 2021 GMC, and I briefly had, as a rental, a 2021 or 22 Ram 1500 with the big screen, and I didn't like it as much. I found it more of a distraction than anything. My hand would bounce around. Here, I want to change the temperature, I grab a solid knob and I change the temperature. I want to change the mode, I hit a big button. Auto, big button. I really prefer that, I honestly do. It's very logically laid out. You just got your temperature here, display, even though it looks like it's the 90s, it works well. You got your two big, clicky, satisfying buttons for your seat heaters, which I love. Massive hazard switch, which I love. Mirror defroster switch, physical. I'm a big tactile guy. I want to be able to go down the road, 5,000 pounds, not look, and change the temperature. Or turn on my defroster. Or turn on my AC. I just prefer that. Some people may vary, but yeah. Interior's held up well besides the scratching issue I mentioned, and again, I do use it hard. The back seat is it's the access cab model. Mine does have the rear seats, as you can see. They fold up, they've got little useful bins underneath, never had an issue, but there's not much to have an issue with back there. It's very much adequate for a access cab, utility cab style of truck. Nothing special, but you know, it does what it does, and it's basically just a storage space. No legroom back there, but that's comparable to every other truck in its class, so can't complain there. I don't mind it. Yeah, the off-road goodies. So this is a TRD off-road, the access cab variety, which some of my American viewers may have never seen, depending on your region. All the off-road goodies work good. MTS and crawl work like expected, although there was a software update that I had to do to get the crawl control to work. I had to do that at the dealership. So that's the one recall it's had. Or it wasn't even a recall, it was a TSB, which got done at an oil change, so I should be fair to the truck in that way. The locker does take a little bit to engage sometimes. You have to kind of do an S to get the wheels to match up, and I assume for the gears to go in. You know, the Ford one, which I've tried in the F-150s, goes in much quicker, but when this one goes in, it functions as every other locker. So, you know, 8 out of 10, works well, does what it needs to. I wish it was available not just 4 low. I wish you could have it in 2-wheel drive or 4 high, but I understand why they did it. It's a liability thing. Yeah, MTS is cool. It's just little adjustable traction control. Nothing crazy. Yeah, it works well, does what it's supposed to. I've gotten this truck into a bit of trouble on some trails, and these have helped me get out. They don't replace you, but they do give you an edge. If you didn't have them, you'd occasionally wish you did. And you know what? That's what they're for, and that's why you don't have to have them. I have a Redarc, or Redar RC, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, trailer brake controller installed that fits in one of these switches. Love it. It's the best trailer brake controller I've ever had. It's just a knob, you push in on it. It's got different colored lights for different colored, or different like fault codes and stuff if you have something wrong with your trailer. Works. Traction control. I love how it has 3 modes. So you have on, you have auto LSD, which allows you to spin more, as in to get momentum going, but keeps your StabiliTrak on so you don't lose the back end. And then you can hold it and switch it off fully for whatever fun you're having. And when it's switched off fully, it's switched off fully. You can do burnouts, you can do donuts, whatever you want. Yeah, that covers a lot of the interior. It's a basic interior, but it does its job well. I've never actually even used this, so I can't comment on HomeLink. As you can tell, we're driving right now on a hilly secondary highway in Canada with the wind. There's the police. I hope they don't yell at me for my GoPro. Not sure why they would. That Audi's in my lane. That's concerning. Okay. Oh, he's really on the road. Let's just get over for him real quick. There we go. Anyways, it's a good driving truck. It's actually kind of quick too for what it is. I'm obviously not gonna do a pull now right in front of the cop. That would be dumb. Yeah, sound system, it's okay. It's not like a Bose system. It's not gonna blow anyone out of the water, but it's an average stock car sound system. From what I've heard, the Subaru Tweeter upgrade's really easy to do. Their speakers are pretty easy to upgrade. Yeah, like it's totally acceptable. That's why I haven't changed it. Nothing crazy, but this isn't the premium either. This is just the regular sound system. Seats, even though I've had covers over them, I love the textile cloth. I love how it feels. I think it's pretty great. I love the two-tone look. Not much to say beyond that. Back seats are similar, but just all black. It wipes off decently easy. I've had to use an extractor on it once for mud, but that's to be expected with mud. Yeah. One of the little features I find is underappreciated in here is this switch that allows you to turn on all the lights in here at once. That's nice. And then you can turn all off, or doors. I put LEDs in the front because I found the stock map lights to be rather dim. Moving on to the negatives of this truck. To be honest, there's not many. But I'm gonna nitpick here. Sometimes I'm gonna do it here going a straight line, I'm not damaging it. The 4x4 takes a while to engage. So you can see it's actually doing it this time. The light's flashing. I can feel in the steering wheel that the steering's heavier and it's engaged, but for whatever reason, the synchros aren't gonna realize it's engaged until I slow down or I reverse. This is a 1 every 10 times thing. I can feel it's in 4x4 and it's performing like it is, but for some reason the light's not telling me it is. After about a minute usually it fixes itself, or if I switch back to two-wheel drive, it fixes itself. So yeah, there's that. The switch is good up to 100. So here I'll show you how usually you fix it. If you just go slow down. It's still in 4x4 by the feel of the steering. So I'm gonna turn down this road. Coming up here. It will fix itself on its own just over time. Just gets a bit confused. So yeah, here, slow down. And I'm gonna pull onto this road. So if it doesn't fix itself, there you go, you heard that click. There. For whatever reason, the actuator just doesn't decide to shift it. I've only had it happen 10 or so times. Cool, I caught it on camera. It's a common issue. The actuator's just a bit sticky. It takes a while to get its shit together, so to say. Oh, well, I'm not monetized in the first place. Can't get demonetized. Another nitpick is, man, I'm even struggling to nitpick this thing. I wish on the access cab you could get a power rear sliding window, because right now you have to reach back and grab it manually. I think that's kind of dumb. Usually the double cabs will switch up here where you do it, or sorry, down here, where you power slide through a window. And this exact trim in a double cab, which is a full 4-door, it would have that. For whatever reason, Toyota just hates us guys who want 2 doors. And another weird thing with that is we can't get certain features in the access cab, like the, forget the term for it. Oh, the premium audio, which I would have gotten. Can't get that. Can't get leather in an access cab either. Other manufacturers like Ford all offer that in a access cab / whatever denomination you want to use. I believe they're called Super Cruise in the Fords. We'll give it a second to switch in the 4x4. So yeah, here's a primary way of fixing the blinking light. You just put it in reverse and bam. It's just the synchros aren't lined up. Every truck I've had's done it. Anyways. Oh, another big nitpick I have, or maybe not even so much of a nitpick, but the paint on this truck is extraordinarily soft. It's so easy to scratch. My truck looks like shit right now because it's so scratched up. I'm gonna have it paint corrected and ceramic coated in the spring, but right now, wow, I've never had a truck scratch so easy. Like you could be using a not microfiber cloth, a wash mitt properly, 2-bucket method, and it's still gonna swirl to shit. So that's unfortunate. I wish Toyota would fix that. It's been an issue for years with them, but what can you do? It doesn't always, I guess you can't change some things about Toyota. What else? I mean, really not too much. I really like this truck. Out of the few I've owned, it's my favorite so far. I'm trying to think of more bad things to say, but honestly, there isn't that many. Oh, the handbrake thing is unnecessarily deep. It's like a hand deep down there, so it collects tons of crap in there, like food. So every once in a while, you gotta pull it out and clean it out, because it gets gross. And like, I'm a pretty clean person, as you might be able to tell by my truck. Well, not the outside, but the inside, I'm pretty clean. So there's that. Honestly, it's a great truck. I would recommend it to anyone in the market for one. I think they're a little expensive, but you pay for quality. You can feel like, or here, I'm gonna be really quiet. None of this stuff creaks. Maybe down there a little. But it's a tight, well-built truck, and I have no doubt that in 100,000 kilometers, it'll feel exactly the same. It'll feel like the truck's put together still, and there won't be any rattles, or the rattling you hear is from stuff in the backseat, by the way. And there won't be any, obviously, like trim-based rattles, where I wouldn't feel the same about maybe a Ford or a GM. I just find it's an incredibly well-built truck, and it feels tight going down the road. As for the trim I picked, TRD off-road, because I do light off-roading, and I have no use for a Pro. I don't need a $70,000 mid-size truck. And I wanted to modify it a bit. So I added the skid plate, the airbags to fit to tow. The rear suspension is a bit soft when you're towing right near the limit, but you know, that's nitpicking. That's at the limit and it still tows it fine. So can't really complain too much. I find it perfectly acceptable. Yeah, it's a great truck. Now we'll get into a bit of driving dynamics, and I can talk about how it drives beyond just my pros and cons to it. Anyways, I want to say they're rated at 268 horsepower and around 270 something pound-feet of torque. Perfectly adequate for a truck this size. Some people say it feels slow, but I say temper your expectations, because it's a mid-sized truck. Toyota does not offer a diesel option, which is a bit of a bummer. I'm a big diesel guy, but if you're gonna get a gas engine, a naturally aspirated one, I'm pretty sure Toyota's the best place you could go for that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's a plus. I love my Toyotas. My dad's Venza with the same motor as this went 220,000 kilometers without a single issue, besides a single dead battery, which was kind of his fault. Left the lights on inside. Very his fault. It's extremely stable, so you can see I'm doing about 75 kilometers an hour, which is about 45 miles an hour on this side road, which is covered in snow and ice, and I'm in 4x4, and I got a little trailer on, and it grips. That's down to I have good tires, but it's a well-balanced chassis for a truck. I feel safe in it when I'm driving it. So there's that. It's got a decent bit of power too. Slow down. But I do love this truck a lot. Would I recommend it to people? Yes, all day. This is a great truck you can get for general purpose truck things. That sounds so stupid, but put 500 pounds of mulch in the bed, drives awesome. Drive it every day as a daily driver, drives awesome. Needs to go off-road somewhere, it's extremely capable, and the high floors lend itself to that extremely well. Something you might want to consider test driving one before you buy it. It's got a bit of a unique seating position for a truck, which is a bit lower to the floor than most would expect. Usually expect to be sitting up higher, but you know, it's not the worst thing. Yeah, besides that, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go.